I'll give you just two examples of how we can mix and match these three elements. So the one that I usually the two that I first give to my students are maybe highway 2, because 1 is quite difficult to control sometimes. So we put our bow at highway 2, we'll just go on the A string. And since it's near the bridge, as I said before, then we can put quite a bit of power. And then as far as speed goes, imagine how much does the string really want to move over here? And how much does the string want to move here? Remember we said it's quite firm and stiff here near the bridge. It's quite springy and movable over here. So we're going to want to use slow bow speed. That point is counterintuitive for a good majority of violin students. So it might take some getting used to, but you'll see it as we use it more and more. So we're going to use highway 2, heavy and slow. So here's the sound. All right, so it's like we can go even slower. I start coming into the bridge. So that was like a 1.5 highway. I don't know if you could see that. So it's to me a very bright sound. It's a very edgy sound. There are a lot of good words that we could describe it as. If you were to put a color to it, I would say you know, everybody's pretty subjective, but I would say a bright yellow or bright orange or even a very strong red. Those might be the colors I would choose, but everyone's different. And then let's try highway 4 with obviously it should be a bit lighter and then faster. So we're going to try that highway 4. Now you can imagine if you don't have much control, then the bow could, you know, be kind of going all over the place. So that's the reason why I just wait a bit longer until the student is ready to try these out and to build control. They don't have to have perfect control, because I find that every student loves to learn about these three elements of tone production, and they have a lot of fun doing it. So by giving them the assignment of just practicing open strings and focusing on those three elements, so we choose the highway, we choose the bow weight, we choose the bow speed, and we just focus in on doing that. That usually also builds control. So it's a lot of fun. And anyway, going back to that color, I would say that reminds me of cotton balls, cotton candy, clouds, anything fluffy like this sweater maybe. It's different than maybe thinking of leather or thinking of wood or of brass. I would say the previous one I did on Highway 2 reminds me more of brass or some type of shiny metal or the sun or something. So it gets to be a lot of fun because we can tap into the more creative side of music. I find that in the beginning I am a stickler about making sure the students learn correct pitches, good intonation, correct rhythms. That usually it doesn't give us much extra time for these types of things. But sooner or later we do have to teach dynamics. And I'm a firm advocate of not teaching dynamics just for the sake of dynamics. I feel that is the wrong approach. From my experience, many years of experience, instead I like to talk about colors or moods or stories. And it doesn't even have to be a cohesive story. We could just say this section sounds like a thunderstorm. And then the next section, it doesn't necessarily have to be related to anything if they have a hard time with coming up with a story that ties everything together. So the next section might remind you of daisies, and then the next section might remind you of a cute little puppy. So they could be disconnected, but definitely having something clear in the student's mind helps a lot. And then they try to create that with their bow. I really feel like when I'm doing this, it just really reminds me of a painter that has 3 primary colors, and then you mix them together, and then you get the secondary colors and the tertiary colors, and so on and so forth. And you can, you know, mix it with white and black, and you can get so many results that way. And I do the same with my bow. I try to vary the tone color in many ways, and I think that's what's really fun about playing the violin, especially in a performance. So anyways, let me just tie up the final point here, which is, if you were to combine the 3 elements of tone production in different ways, it doesn't have to be so cut and dried. You'd be surprised of what combinations do work. However, there are definitely combinations that don't work. So let's say I did the first exercise, the highway 2. It was heavy and slow. So I took the heavy and slow, but I changed the highway to here, and then you're gonna see it sounds like a frog dying or something. So gives you an example that the string cannot really support that type of weight and speed way over here. And then the same is true for the opposite. So we did over in highway 4, we did a fast and light bow speed. So let's try fast and light over here. And you're gonna see that it's just glazing over the top of the string. I'm not able to really create the proper friction, like, you see how that's the proper friction. My horsehair and the rosin on my horsehair is actually able to grab onto the string and create a proper sound wave. However, if you're going too fast and too light, and then the string doesn't really want to move over here, then you sort of get that ponticello sound. To me, it sounds icy and shivery, almost like fingernails on a chalkboard. So that is the result of putting the wrong bow weight and bow speed into the wrong highway. So hope that helps. This is such a fun topic, and I hope to touch on it some more later. So if you have questions, just leave some comments below, and I'd be happy to add some more videos and answer more questions on the topic.